Hello, my artists. You guys have been working on your value unit. You guys have done so much practice to this point, and I love everything that you have sent me. I know that you guys have done your value scales. You've done all kinds of stippling and cross-hatching and hatching and lots of really great practice. Last week, you even did form, where you tried to shade with those values and create the idea of three-dimensionality. Well, we're going to take that practice and we are going to make some artwork, but I want you guys to meet some artists first. I'm not going to do just one this time. You guys are older, so I know that you can handle a little bit more, and I believe in you. You're going to meet some artists here who focus on value and who are known for creating value within their work. So let's go meet them. The first artist we're going to meet today is an Italian artist who lived from 1571 to 1610. His name is Caravaggio. Caravaggio was known for creating something called chiaroscuro, which in Italian means light and dark, so both at the same time. That is why I wanted to show you his work in terms of value. The first painting of his that we will look at is called The Calling of St. Matthew and was painted between 1599 and 1600. Here we see his play between the light coming through the window and all of the figures highlighted there. The background is dark, which makes the value focus mainly on the figures and the faces. The second painting from his is painted in 1602, called The Inspiration of St. Matthew. Here we see the angel dictating to St. Matthew, and we can't even see St. Matthew's rush to get all of the words down unless you look really hard at the bottom, because of the light and the value that Caravaggio used in the angel's clothing and cloth that swirl around him. Our next artist is considered the best, most famous Dutch painter of all time and one of the most influential painters in all of art history. His name is Rembrandt van Rijn. Rembrandt lived from 1606 to 1669. Rembrandt became famous for his use of value because of the work of Caravaggio. We can see here in this first painting, The Abduction of Europa, painted in 1632, how even though there's lots of trees and other figures and even a cart and a horse in the background, the light forces us to look at the horse in the water running away with Europa. Rembrandt's most famous painting is called The Night Watch. It was painted in 1642. Rembrandt was known for his one or two dots of white, and this bright white that almost seemed to shine off of the painting. We can see it here in the officer's uniform. The Night Watch has been one of the most influential paintings of all time in terms of light and dark and the use of value throughout the entire painting. Our next artist is James McNeill Whistler. This is a self-portrait that he painted called Arrangement in Gray in 1872. Whistler was an American painter that made a huge splash on this European scene. The Europeans disagreed with his view on art. because he named some of his paintings arrangements, they felt that they weren't true portraits and he was treating people like objects. Here, his most famous painting, called Arrangement in Gray and Black No. 1, is now known as Whistler's Mother. Whistler's Mother has gone on to represent motherhood and moms everywhere. But the painting is almost done solely in white and black with no other colors. So using value to create an icon. Our last artist for today is probably the most famous. His name was Pablo Picasso. He lived from 1881 to 1973. Picasso has made more artwork than any other artist in all of art history and invented multiple types of movements, artistic movements, and ways of creating art. Here we see his painting Guernica. Guernica was painted in 1937 and is a comment politically on war and what war does to people, the community, and how they live. This painting also includes newspapers painted into the surface of those events during that time. It is a shining example worldwide of the effects of war, but done solely in black and white. So using value to not only make a painting, but also to convey a message. Hi, my artists. We are finally at the point where we're going to do our value project. You guys have done so much practice up until this point, so I can't wait to see how good that practice has made you. In front of me, I have all my materials. I have extra sheets of paper so I don't get the table dirty. These are just recycling. I have a piece of 5x7 paper that was also recycling as well. You can use any size paper you want, but don't make this too big. So if you want to fold something in half, that's fine as well. The other thing you're going to need, two things you're going to need, is a pencil and a template. The template can be anything you want. I'm using a C because of Carol. You can use a shape or anything you design and cut out. Make sure it is not too small. You want it to be fairly large to fill the space. Then a nice decent sharp pencil, and here's how we do this. Let's go. So now that you have all your materials, the directions for this is that you're going to trace your template on this paper minimum of 5 times, but you can do 7 to 9, and we're going to do this in layers. So you are creating value on each layer. So put your template down and trace. So that's 1, and you can turn them all kinds of ways. That's 2. And I am not drawing too dark, so I don't A, indent my paper, and B, if I need to erase, I can erase this. So make sure that you're drawing light till you get it right. 3. I'm going to turn this one this way. The smaller your template, the more that you can put in there. So that is your artist choice. That's 4. That's do 5, and you can see that I moved it around to help me make my choice. It doesn't all have to be going the same direction. 5, let's do 1 up, 6, and let's do 1 here. Now this one I'm going to have go off the page just a little bit. You are allowed to do that. And this is 7. Now for this first layer, you're going to take your pencil all the way out, just like we learned the other week with creating our value. Okay, so this is going to be the lightest layer, and you're just going to lightly put your pencil down to create the lightest value that you can on your paper inside your template. So you're going to do that for each, and then you're going to go back in and trace another set, make that set darker and darker and darker. Here is our time lapse. Okay guys, you can see our finished product. I think in the video you saw some tips that I think will be very helpful for you. So put that other piece of paper over top so you don't smear it. Use paper, not tissue, because tissue will blend and smear everything, so use paper. You saw me move my pencil not just up and down and back and forth, but sometimes you saw me move it in circles. You also saw me not sharpen it very pointy, so it had more of a rounded edge to lay the color down with. And you saw me outline the letters, so then I wasn't getting color past that line into it. But you can see here that because I made my C's a little small, that they didn't fill the space up very much. So I had more to do layers with, and that's just how I did my artwork. You guys don't have to do that. Make sure that you are getting at least 3 different layers on there, and then fill in the background with your black. Make sure that you take your pencil and, like on the edge there, I'm gonna have to redo that, go off the edge with your pencil like you saw me do in the video, so then you can get your edges without damaging them. Okay, but I cannot wait to see the creative stencils that you guys make and your value drawings.